Yeah, what came up for me, like what I'm super aware of in a really interesting way is this: the culture of awareness of the general white person in our society is so exponentially so much lower than any person of color, right? So I use like the example of like, if for the last 4 to 5 generations your family's gone to college or they've bought a house, then in this current generation buying a house, it's pretty obvious to you what to do, right? How to deal with it, because you've built this like generational knowledge, right? People of color in our communities have been dealing with this for generations. They've built so many strategies for coping, and even though it's still so painful, like and then most of the white people that I'm working with, like this is maybe the first time that they're even recognizing that discrimination is as rampant as it is. And that in itself is a really, really big issue, right? Because it's basically like you have people on a master's, doctorate, PhD level next to a kindergartner in terms of their learning. And I see that gap as like a really big issue in the work community. So something I really appreciate about the woman that I partner with is we don't work with organizations unless they're willing to commit to their senior leadership to doing the work first, because we know that the top is where every decision is made. So while I totally agree with Corey, we have to act, I'm seeing so many white people, they're not recognizing to even say anything. They're not even noticing, because it's the air they breathe and the water that they swim in. And so for me, and the work that I'm doing is standing for, like, I'm going to work in white affinity spaces with your CEO, with the core people who make decisions in your organization, to wake them up to what this whole system is. And then from there, we're going to talk about now working with your managers, and then working with your staff. And then we're going to talk about systemically what needs to change in your organization. Because if the consciousness doesn't change, we're just going to keep repeating the same patterns over and over. And if the systems of an organization don't change, we're going to keep repeating the patterns over and over.